Hi friends, welcome to my channel. Today I'll be going over Bling Empire New York's first episode. The show starts off with Dorothy going to New York. She meets her friend Tina, an influencer. They discuss finding love in New York. From Tina's facial expression, it doesn't appear her social circle includes straight men. Tina also appears to be single when she reveals she sleeps next to her favorite snacks. Tina then introduced us to all her New York friends. We have Richard Chang, who calls himself Chairman Chang. He's the guy who finally found a girl named Vika after he claimed he dated half of the women in New York. We have Stephen and Deborah Hung, a rich couple. Stephen is Chinese, Deborah is Mexican. Stephen is shy when it comes to public display of affection, but Deborah is the opposite. We have Lynn Ban, a celebrity jewelry designer, and Blake Abbey, who is a fashion editor. Not much is mentioned about the cast, nor how they obtain their wealth, other than Tina, who claims she's a self-made influencer and fashionista. We do see her going to Paris Fashion Week. The entire cast meets up for Hung's 10-year anniversary party at an art gallery. Dorothy was running late. Deborah's assistant told Deborah one of the guests is arriving late and whether she wanted to wait for her before making her speech. Deborah said no. She made her speech. I was actually expecting a longer speech when she started reading off her phone. Later, Dorothy shows up, chats with Richard Chang while Vika was standing next to them. Vika rolled her eyes a few times. Turns out Richard and Dorothy go way back. Later, Dorothy tells us in a private interview that it's not right to not have food at a party and complains that the host leaves without saying goodbye. She turns to her IG to ask her followers if it's right to not serve food at a party. Of course, somehow Deborah finds out, gets triggered, and responded with food videos. Considering Dorothy was a guest and was late, Dorothy should have went up to the host, apologized, and introduced herself. By taking matters to IG, Dorothy is making a small issue bigger. Since it was the Hung's party, it's really up to them if they want to serve food. I mean, the entire cast is supposedly wealthy, so it's not worth being petty about not having food at a party. You can always leave early and buy your own meal, just like the Hungs left early to grab dinner. Of course, this is a reality show, and it's too early to make peace. Compared to other guests, Deborah's dress was over the top for an art gallery appearance. My interpretation is that both Stephen and Deborah had other engagements after the hangout at the art gallery. The Hungs probably just show up to film the art gallery scene and went back to their normal lives after. The Hungs are probably not friends with most of the cast, otherwise they would have said their goodbyes before leaving. If they are friends, I would agree with Dorothy that not saying goodbye just makes them look like they don't have etiquette. After the party, Tina informs Dorothy that Vika is Richard's girlfriend. Well, isn't it a little late? Dorothy was kind of flirty with Richard the entire night. Tina then asks if Dorothy is interested in Richard. She said, well, he's 6'4". I guess yes. Dorothy likes tall guys. Next day, Dorothy meets up with Lynn and Blake to complain about the party. Of course, Lynn and Blake wants to run the same circle and do business with the Hungs, so they kept quiet. The episode ends with Richard calling Deborah to apologize for Dorothy's behavior. Deborah ends the conversation by saying no uninvited guests in the future. Looks like Richard will have to bring Deborah and Dorothy together for future episodes. Overall, I could be wrong, but I felt like the conflict between Deborah and Dorothy was scripted. This is my first time watching a reality show about rich people where the show doesn't offer food at the parties. Anyways, please let me know what you think about this episode and if you are Team Dorothy or Team Deborah. Please like, subscribe, and let me know in your comments what you think. Thanks. Have a nice day. Bye.